Well, a very good evening. A very good evening, our dear audience that has already arrived here. And we welcome you to this edition of the debates that we've been having here involving candidates who want to represent different constituencies in Teso in the 12th Parliament. This evening we'll have the 5th edition of such debates here, where we'll have candidates vying for Gweri County. They will be debating, exchanging ideas, and telling us why they think they are the best candidates to represent the people of Gweri. My name is Grace Amoding. Many people know me as Mama G, that's my studio name. I work with Teso Broadcasting Services Radio, that's TBS Radio. I do a morning show, that is Twende Kazi Leo, every Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. I also read news in English, sometimes in Ateso too. I also do a Saturday show, the Press Review, where we analyze major stories during the course of the week. This evening, as we welcome you to this edition of the debates, for giving us the space and allowing us to be here today one more time. But also I want to extend my appreciation to the team of journalists in Teso under the umbrella body Task Force. That is Teso Journalists for Community Empowerment. And we also have Rhino Africa. Rhino Africa is an app that you can download, and it's a messaging app where you can interact with your friends and family and relatives and many others. And you can go to Google Play Store even now as you see it, and then download Rhino Africa. It's an app which was created by one of our own, Anette Sot, and you can enjoy the conversations with your friends and family on Rhino app. This evening we have journalists and a team of bloggers from different media platforms, radio stations. We have representatives from Memoria TV. We have representatives from Teso Vibes. Teso TV is present here. Delta Radio, Atop Radio, TBS Radio, Veritas Radio is represented. We have Teso Investigative Unit represented. We also have Veritas Radio represented. Nova Promotions, Teso Media Group, and Active Media represented here. And those of you who are following us online, we are on, and you can share you can continue sharing the links so that other people can also join us. Very shortly, we'll be able to kickstart with the debate. And we welcome you. Those of you who are making your way here, this is the time. By now, I guess you should be here already, because shortly we'll be beginning with the debates. A very good evening, and thank you very much for those of you, or to those of you who have already arrived. We appreciate you so much for keeping time, and thank you. Yalama noi ne ijas yes kerenu dauta lomune yogatibong ite so yogaite be emuria koliai luirasi kumama bakasi yogaite be kumamnyai yalama noi kerenu dauto adolun ne ijayo ni Rhino Camp Hotel, ida kota ishalam kin noi eya itenelo Rhino Camp Hotel, anwacha makin Boswa Park, ajaunu ni atibong na lolo. Ijain lemuni ya parasha achia boboka u, anwaswa munu ilosi aswami lolo bobo. Okiro raka nyarita engo Grace Amoding, nuipue jenete ngokwape Mama G, so Mike da TBS Radio. Konyati bong na lolo, ijai bobone anwe debate, lo angunu ikilasi abwa, aro bolo ite da kopia ni anwa boy kintungan wo buku Gweri auto my rabbit na ite monetia re ejaine etimu ara ina peta anu erasunu ite mon kitos aro takie muto wote soto my bongete kechi na Teso journalists for community development or empowerment Teji Force ido eja ne media houses nui Moria Ritose Muria TV, Ijaika Teso Vibes, Teso TV, Delta Radio, Etop, TBS Radio, Veritas, Sejaine, Teso Investigative Unit, Nova Promotions, Teso Media Group, Nepepeka Active Media. Ido Ijai Dabone Nepeke the Wano Africa app, and Wano Africa app Rainges the messaging app na ineratari tungakoto molago kwa ineratari continue sharing the online link. Seterenu cheda pedoreti assesen and weja asine achi me pedota dolun idiopen konye kotoma online platforms weja asine ipedote kes the assesen, so we can continue sharing the links, and then they will also be able to follow as the proceedings continue. Yalama noi ibonguni asote nyikokin kedai na peta. I want to take this opportunity to invite our moderators for the day to take up their seats. The moderators, please take up your seats. Moderating this debate this evening is Peterson Hiria. He works with Teso Broadcasting Service, TBS Radio. We also have Stephen Ojachor, who is equally the Minister of Information in the Teso Culture Union. Thank you very much for coming. Apart from being a Minister of Information with ICHU, he also works with the Patriots Media. Yalamanoi. All right, Stephen Ojachor works with the Patriots Media, but also he works with NBS Television. Thank you very much, Yalamanoi, our audience. We have the candidates who have already arrived, and we want to profile them before they take up their seats. I want to invite our candidates who have arrived to kindly come and take up the seats before we go ahead and profile you. Kindly come and take up your seats. The candidates who have arrived, kindly take up your seats, and then we can go ahead and profile you. That's candidate Samuel Enino. Thank you for coming. We also have candidate David Asubu. Kindly come and take up your seat. And candidate Opolot Abel, kindly come and take up your seat. We also expect other candidates to join. We also expect other candidates to join the debate. We apparently have 3 candidates who have taken up their seats. 2 candidates have not yet arrived. We also expect them to arrive. Candidate Herbert Edmonarico has not yet arrived. We also have candidate Tom Julia Sekudo. He has not yet arrived, but we're also expecting their arrival shortly. May I have the profiles? Soroti manages and operates a private clinic delivering dental and general health care services to the local population. Candidate Ninu Samuel Kaju, thank you for coming. Our second candidate is candidate Asubu David. He comes from Oburu Village, Awoja Parish, Aukot Sub-County, Gweri County. His political affiliation is an independent. Education background. Asubu David holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Democracy and Development Studies. These he got from Uganda Matters University. He also holds a diploma in Social Works and Social Administration, which he obtained from Kumi University. A diploma in community-based work for children and young people. He got this from South African-based institute. Certificate in administrative law, which he got from Makere University. Work experience. Asubu David has over 23 years of professional experience in community development, governance, and humanitarian work. Action Aid International Uganda, he worked for 12 years. Lutheran World Federation International, he worked for 8 years. Abarulela Community Development Organization, Amuria, he worked for 2 years. Professional expertise. Governance and development specialist. He's a community mobilization and empowerment specialist, social justice and human rights advocate. He's also a policy engagement and civic participation advocate. He's a youth, children, and vulnerable community programs director, leadership and activism. David Asubu is a committed activist and development practitioner with a strong track record in promoting democratic governance, accountability, and inclusive development. His work has focused on empowering grassroots communities, strengthening local government structures, and advocating for social and economic justice, particularly among marginalized populations. Candidate Asubu David, thank you for coming. The other candidate who we have here right now is candidate Opolot Abel. His political affiliation is an independent candidate. Opolot Abel, born in 1983 in Achuma Village, Abelet Parish, Gweri Sub-County, is a distinguished Ugandan professional, educator, administrator, entrepreneur, and political leader. He currently resides at his family home in Tukum Village, Telamot Parish, Awalwal Sub-County. He is the firstborn of 4 siblings and grew up as a war-affected child during the late 1980s and 1990s in Teso, an experience that shaped his resilience and commitment to service. He studied at Pioneer Primary School from 1989 up to 1995, where he excelled in PLE and earned admission to Teso College Laureate. While at Teso College Laureate, he demonstrated exceptional academic performance and actively participated in games and sports, debates, music, dance, and drama. In 2001, he completed advanced level as the best student in Soroti district, scoring 21 out of 25 points, an unprecedented achievement at that time. In 2002, Opolot joined Makere University and graduated in 2005 with a Bachelor of Urban Planning, earning a place on the Dean's list. During his university year, he served as Speaker of Makere University Physical Planners and Publicity Secretary of TESDA. He is a registered professional physical planner with the Association of Professional Physical Planners of Uganda. Between 2005 and 2008, he taught English language and literature in several secondary schools in Teso, including Jeresa High School and Gweri Secondary School. In October 2008, Opolot joined Kaberemaido District Local Government, serving in multiple key roles: District Physical Planner, Lands Officer, Secretary to the District Land Board, and clerk to the district council. While in Kabramaidho, he pursued a postgraduate diploma in public administration and management at the Uganda Management Institute, graduating magna cum in 2012 with a perfect CGPA of 5.0, the first and still unmatched performance in UMI's history. He also holds a certificate in administrative law from Makerere University. In June 2013, Opolot joined Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, where he served in prestigious positions, including Chief City Planner and Secretary to the Physical Planning Committee. In April 2025, he resigned, from KCCA to join elective politics in Gweri County constituency. He's also an accomplished entrepreneur and proprietor of several businesses across Uganda, including Vikings High School, which he founded in 2014 and has since become the best performing school in Kalaki district. Candidate Opolot Abel, thank you for coming. So far, those are the 3 candidates who have arrived. We still hope others will also join us. Otherwise, now, I want to take this microphone to the moderators of the debate.
Thank you so much, MC. A very good evening to you candidates and good evening to the audience. We start our debate today and we shall go through just a few rules. And one of the rules is on time management. We shall allocate you 3 to 5 minutes depending on the kind of question. We expect respectful language. We shall have some follow-up questions or interrogation at a later stage. And we also expect you to control your supporters in case they make a lot of noise at that stage. But for now, restrain, please, if you are there. Let's allow our candidates to express their views fully. We expect good decorum from the audience. We expected 5 candidates, but now that you are 3, that means probably shall adjust on the time, shall add you more time such that you exhaustively address your people. We want to thank you, all of you, all the media houses that are tuning in live. My name is Peterson and my colleague is here, Stephen Ojachol. We want to wish you the best, and our starting point will be on the manifesto question. What do you intend to do for your people? We'll be taking you through that. We are basically going to deal with the roles of a member of parliament and then the issues that you are presenting to your people, to the voters. Thank you so much. And you.
seen in Gweri that makes you feel you're the right person to create a formidable solution?
Thank you so very much. Good evening, viewers, visitors. The line of the leadership that I plan to have for Gweri. As a candidate, I am ready and willing to make sure I legislate for my people in Gweri. I am making sure that I am going to represent them in Gweri, and I'm making sure I am going to be an oversight for the people of Gweri so that they get what is theirs. In Parliament, where all of us want to go, we have to send people who are willing to legislate, who are willing to represent, who are willing to be an oversight, who are going to be an eye of the people of Gweri. And basically, those three and more other people, that's what I can share with you that I'm going to be, and I'm making sure that I be the best candidate in Gweri, because that's what I'm going to do. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for using your time. In other words, each candidate, you have 3 minutes to respond to that introduction question. And I'm very happy that candidate Rhino has paid discipline to time. Thank you. The Honorable David, you are one of those who has been campaigning and you were duly nominated. Now that you are a candidate, what makes you feel you're the best candidate for the position of the Member of Parliament in Gweri? And what is that major disturbing problem you saw pressing your people that makes you feel you can create a formidable solution?
Thank you very much, the organizers of this debate, management of Rhino, the media fraternity that is here, my supporters, my colleagues who are aspiring with me, TESO as a region and Uganda at large. That is my name. The profile was read. Not going to repeat that. David Azasubu is aware, very aware what is required of a member. And it's from there that I have the inspiration. I am actually motivated by the challenges that the people of Gweri, the people of TESO, people of Uganda have. You look at the 5 candidates that were nominated for Gweri constituency. Asubu holds a very good track record. A member of parliament who listens to his people. Member of parliament with an accountability track record, working with Action Aid, working with the Lutheran World Federation. The current challenges we have on ground are not a result of poor legislation. They are a result of thieves, some thieves who are in public offices. They are a result of leaders who do not have a heart for the people who vote for them. You vote for someone, after voting, for me as a person, I know there is what we call the social contract, which comes from that perspective of taxation. Ugandans pay taxes to government of Uganda, and government of Uganda is supposed to provide the best to the taxpayers. The people of Gweri in 5 years have been stolen. Gweri County does not have a technical school. The leaders who are there are very quiet. Asubu with the boldness, Asubu with the oversight, Asubu with the networks I have, I will be able to make a fallout. And the young people who are seated here will be able to benefit from the technical school that government of Uganda actually is thinking about it. Look at the Health Center 4. In the guidelines, every constituency is supposed to have a Health Center 4, which has over 60 health workers. Now I'm seated here with one of my colleagues who has trained where Health Center 4 lacks that. It is something I would like to make a follow-up on. All the 3 sub-counties in Gweri County do not have city schools. Government of Uganda has our money, but we don't have leaders who can make a follow-up. Members of parliament appropriate, the money is there, but they don't have the heart that Asubu has to go and appropriate and fix on the issues that are happening in Gweri.
Thank you very much. I'll cut you because of the time, but I know you will find where to accommodate more of your ideas in the coming questions. You're still not left out. Honorable Abel Opolot, why do you think you are that candidate who deserves to lead Gweri? And why do you think the people of Gweri should give their trust in you? What is that problem you saw in reality that has pushed you to feel you need to create a solution for it?
Thank you, moderator. I thank all the listeners out there for tuning in to this program. Why am I the best candidate for the position of Member of Parliament of Gweri County? The people of Gweri County have been abandoned by their leaders. Let us start from here. They have been invited here for a debate, and you can see that the sitting members of parliament are not around, and in fact, I don't think they will come. So that's problem one. And even when you look at the constituency of Gweri, the people of Gweri have suffered for the previous 5 years. My appeal to the people of Gweri is, let us not suffer again. Because when we saw this suffering of the people of Gweri, we have a club whose roof was blown off by gale force winds. So what happened was that no one responded. Yet we have leaders. We have now people who claim that they are from Gweri, but they never responded. The first person to go there and roof that club, a club which has existed since the 60s, was Opolot Abel, who is seated before you. We've had other challenges, including transportation. When people win elections, they withdraw their vehicles. The people had no transportation means. The first person to bring any movable vehicle to Gweri County was none other than Opolot Abel, seated here before you. Someone who has them at heart, someone who has results to show, someone whom they can trust that when he gets to the August house, he will not turn their backs on them. So the people of Gweri County, they really need to look into these affairs. When we go to Osuguro, there is a parish in Gweri called Osuguro in Aukot sub-county. Children there are learning inside mat structures. When it rains, school has to close. They're in a very desperate situation. We have people who have come to Gweri County who claim that they're billionaires. They've done nothing. What has happened is that it is just the humble me with my few resources who has already done a building, a 3-classroom block, which is at ring beam level. So, when you continue to look at Gweri County itself, we had an issue of people who were sick. Women who needed transportation to the health, to the regional hospital from the health center 4 that we have at the county. No means of transport whatsoever. But then we decided that no, with the little resources I have, I may not be able to afford an ambulance. We decided to bring a small vehicle, an Ipsam vehicle, which is in use transporting sick people right from the health center 4 for referral here, which is better than them sitting on motorcycles, which end up throwing sick people on the ground, causing them further accidents. I beg to end there. Thank you very much. I see that the moderator is already on my case, but since we are only 3, we were humbly begging that the 3 minutes become 5 and the 5 become 7. I say this for God and my country and for the people of Gweri County. Your leader has arrived. God has answered your prayers. You have spoken for so long. You have prayed for so long. The leaders abandoned you. That is my prayer to the people of Gweri. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Abel followed. Ladies and gentlemen, this debate is followed countrywide. We have always got the feedbacks, especially from the high-ranking government officials who appreciate the media, and we also appreciate the government for ideologically or emotionally pushing us, supporting us. And you can still continue sending in your comments through the different social media handles, Teso Vibes, Emoria TV. We have Nova Promotion. We have the Teso Broadcasting Services on its socials, and we shall continue picking your questions to say that you are part of this debate. For this time, I want to give Peterson to take us through the legislative role. The Member of Parliament, as I take a bit of water. Peterson.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Well, just for the record, the two members of Parliament, one of Sorot State East, the other of Gweri County, were invited and they received letters. Surprisingly, we saw a communication on social media, and yet we sent an invitational letter, Homo, which was, and then we see the communication, which we cannot, of course, take, not on his social media handles, but in WhatsApp groups of numbers that we cannot confirm. No phone call or text message was made to any of the journalists over that matter. And that is candidate Edmond Ariko. So we can't understand you take, but from the reasons we saw, really, they looked social media reasons for that matter. Candidate Tom Ekudo confirmed to me and said, okay, he even asked for the letter to be signed, which I made sure it happened. But after an hour, he didn't respond up to now. He was not picking up calls. We don't know, maybe he's still on the way. Thank you. For now, let me start with the candidate Eninu. What do you consider the legislative agenda for Teso sub-region? What do you consider as the legislative agenda for Teso sub-region?
Well, thank you so very much for that opportunity. I, as a candidate, as the Samuel Kaju, what I do consider as the legislative agenda for Teso sub-region, I should say Teso as the sub-region has various and so many legislative agendas. To mention but a few, I'll talk about the agriculture agenda. Teso as a region, Teso as a sub-region, the government in power has enabled and has promised so much to make sure it develops the agriculture in Teso. That's why to date, Teso as a sub-region has received 611.5 billion just to input into to boost the agriculture sector in the Teso sub-region. Plus again more a top up of 118 billion Uganda shillings just for the required activities in Teso sub-region. And again, what I can say, my political agenda as Samuel Kaju, my people of Gweri, I bring my cry unto you. And I want to say this, Teso as the region, Gweri as the county, we need leaders who are going to represent us. We need leaders who are going to follow up the Teso agenda. I should talk about the infrastructure development. I don't know, I'm forgetting the name of the company, but I want to say the government in power promises so much for our infrastructure in the Teso sub-region. That's why they have allocated multi-billions to make sure they work on the ongoing and current projects for the roads in the region. I should talk about the industrialization and job creation. We have a government in power. that has pledged and is promising so much. Is promising to work on the job creation. Those job creation that we are talking about, who's going to follow up on them? We need leaders who are going to face the government, who are going to represent us as TESO, who are going to stand on the floor of parliament and talk about these issues. People of TESO, as an agenda still here in our company, I should talk about the ongoing situation right now. All of us are aware, and I know you are aware, the cattle compensation. Who's not aware about the cattle compensation? It is still what? An agenda here in the TESO sub-region. Government has allocated I was saying government has allocated 80 billion for compensation of cattle here in TESO. Leaders and people of TESO, more so where I come from in Gweri, we need a leader who's going to follow up on all these issues. And I believe, I as a young person per se, I need this government.
I think correct that microphone.
I was concluding on my point, and my point was cattle compensation. People of TESO, we have been promised for so long to receive money for cattle. All this money is there and has been allocated 80 billion. But how is it going to come? Right now, we hear in corridors, people have been registered, people are going to receive this money. But I do believe this may be possible, and I'm going to make sure I, as a person, given chance and in parliament, I will make sure I follow up, and everyone, I'll make sure people receive what belongs to them. And I'll make sure we as the TESO are given what belongs to us. These are things that were lost years ago, but up to date they have never been compensated. It's all a weakness of our leaders here in TESO. And I believe TESO as a region, TESO as a sub-region, we need a new batch of leaders. We need a new batch of leaders who are going to fight for the current issues in TESO. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. And that is another question, a follow-up question on that. We need leaders. How now are you going to fight for those issues you've mentioned?
I should say, how am I going to do that? As a person, Samuel Nino Kaju, I'm not a well-off person. These are activities that the government brings to empower and to make sure to bring back TESO's victory, to bring back the wealth that was once in TESO. These activities are going to make we people of TESO wealthy. The president is always lecturing and telling people to engage in agriculture activities. Given 5 cows, the 5 cows can easily multiply. So I look at myself as a young person. What do I have? I even don't have 5 cows. But given chance of receiving 5 cows from this government, those 5 cows can multiply. And I will make sure that these activities do happen, because these things are going to empower the young people. These people are going to benefit from this cattle compensation. So I do believe we need leaders who feel the pain. We need leaders who have seen the pain that people are facing. Because most of them claim to say that they are billionaires, that that have made it all. So
Thank
they
you.
don't think
Thank you.
about us as the
Thank
young
you
people
so
of this
much,
nation. Thank you so very much.
Candidate Nino. Thank you so much for response. Candidate David Asubu, the TESO legislative agenda. At the moment, we have issues that have emerged, that the entire region is not united. So what would you propose as the key issues in the TESO agenda, legislative agenda, and how do you think we can get that cohesion when you get to parliament? What role can you play to have the cohesion towards that agenda?
Thank you very much, Peterson. I want to think you have asked the right question to the right candidate. If you look at the challenges TESO is having as a region, Gweri alone as a county, if they gave that opportunity to a person of Asubu, while other constituencies are sending leaders who don't feel for their people, who will continue to struggle. I remember when I was still working for civil society, we consulted with the farmers. The Teso community are farmers. Everyone seated here is a farmer. And the government of Uganda was advised, I think under Abuja Declaration, to raise the national budget that goes to farmers to 15%. But even today, as we are still talking, we are still at 2.7, not even 3%. You can imagine you are planning to host 1,000 people who take soda. Then you go ahead to buy warrage. Are you interested in giving a service? TESO has a bunch of leaders with a platform called the TESO Parliamentary Group. The information I have, in the last 5 years, they have never sat to discuss issues that affect the people of TESO. And yet we are blessed to have very high-placed leaders. We have the vice president, we have the speaker. Those are all very good leaders. But what is missing that Asubu will add to the team is for us to work as a team. For us to work collaboratively. For us, because a member of parliament does not just work for a constituency. You work for Uganda as a country. So I think the problem is there. So David Asubu, who has been working for civil society with very good mobilization skills, networking skills, advocacy, lobbying, I'll be able to use the skills I have to work with the team for us to be able to fix on their TESO agenda. The issues we are talking about, chaos. People who are affiliated to NRM cannot fall up on the chaos. I don't know whether you know about this. They cannot speak about chaos. It's either people who are standing as independents like David Asubu or people in opposition to make a follow-up with the sitting government that has deceived the Ugandans for 10, 15 years. Right now, let's see, ones are busy writing names for you to be able to vote for them. So, his voice number one, you have been hearing on radio.
Candidate Asubu, your colleague has just given us information. You've not heard of the 80 billion allocated and the process starting? 80 billion. Have you not heard about it?
I have heard about that, and I'm telling the people of TESO, that is a hearsay. In 2011, government of Uganda put a lot of money to compensate the TESO. How many people were compensated? Gweri has a constituency. I have information of about 4 or 5 people compensated. Now we are talking about every family. I made a calculation. I come from Obur, like it was read. Obur has over 300 households. If each household is getting 5 million, Obur requires 1 billion, 1 billion point 5 to 2 billion. Where will this government get that money? All the money has gone to buy yellow t-shirts. So TESO requires leaders like David Asubu for us to be able to go to Parliament of Uganda, where our resources are being kept.
David Asubu, do you want to insinuate that it is taxpayers' money buying the yellow t-shirts, or that is money for the NRM party?
No, the money government is actually using to buy yellow t-shirt.
Government or NRM
The
as a party?
sitting government is NRM. The difference between NRM and government of Uganda is the similarity. I hope you understand that. When teachers, remember, your children stayed home for 1 month. Teachers wanted very little money. Little money to be added for them to have a heart. And when we talk about government, members of parliament are there. The ones who come from TESO, the ones who cannot speak for you, the ones who are hiring you. This is an opportunity for people of Gweri people in Teso and Uganda to have a member of parliament in the names of Asubu David for us to be able to fix that. You know this. I want to tell you, like I was telling you when I was in the civil society, we consulted with the farmers and gave a farmer's money. A hoe, I think, sells at 10,000 shillings, a handy hoe. At that time, we were advising government of Uganda, since there are many farmers using hoes, can you reduce on the price of horse? Did that happen? It didn't happen. That's why you see in Teso as a region, I think we're about 5 people who have left working with the civil society because there is a big problem. There is a big problem that needs to be fixed. So for me, that's what I'm thinking. If the people of Gweri gave me an opportunity, I will be able to utilize the knowledge, the experience, the expertise I have to work with the team for us to be able to fix on those things. I submit.
Thank you so much, candidate David Asubu. Let me get to candidate Abel. What are the key issues that you think collectively Teso should present and fight for? And how do you think that can be possible?
Thank you. The first Gweri is the wrong zoning of Teso. Government, or the NRM government, has done what they have called agricultural zoning, whereby every region, government is telling every region which crops they should grow. In Teso, they have said that we should be growing oranges and mangoes. They have zoned us for citrus. Now, this is a problem, and we as people of Teso must take this, and I want to take this upon myself to say, if I'm given the vote, I am going to parliament to de-zone Teso so that it's not zoned as a place for oranges and mangoes. Why? The market for oranges and mangoes is very poor. Teso was known as a cattle corridor. We were a cattle keeping region and the biggest beef processing plant in Eastern Central Africa was just here in Amukaru next to Gweri, where I'm contesting. But now the trick that government has done is to so this is the key legislative issue that I need to take to the Parliament of Uganda. There's a trick that has been played to keep Teso poor for the next 1,000 years, and we must fight this as people of Teso. The second issue, which is legislative, is the issue that my brothers have already touched on. The issue of restitution. The people of Teso need compensation for cattle that was lost, for lives that were lost, for women who were raped. Our mothers, our aunts were raped here, and there has never been compensation. There were houses that were destroyed. My grandfather's house was destroyed in Gweri. There has never been compensation. This is a story. The only compensation we are going to believe is the one that the people of Gweri will actually receive in their pockets, not a story written on a newspaper. This is political foolery. And it is at this point that we are saying the people of Teso should vote a voice that will go to actually fight for these things. The issue that we need Teso to address seriously is legislation on climate change. We have the weather in Teso, which has changed so much, and there has been no clear response from the government of Uganda. Even when government of Uganda is receiving funding from the developed world on climate change resilience and other climate change interventions, that money doesn't trickle down to the common man, and so we are facing so many adverse effects of climate change. This region is soon going to be a desert. if we do not have leaders who can speak up on climate change and
Candidate
desertification.
government is trying to evict people from the wetlands. Isn't that one a response on issues of climate change?
Climate change is much more complex than wetlands. I was born in 1983, and even in the 80s and 90s, people in Gweri used to cultivate in the wetlands, and the skies never dried up, the rains never dried up. The actual issue behind climate change are carbon emissions, not people digging in wetlands. The digging in wetlands dries up the wetlands and dries up the lake. So it's a serious problem. It's not a problem. It's not a simple issue. However, the adverse issues we are facing now here are because of carbon emissions. And we need to fight this.
Of the interventions.
It is not even one of the first three. We need to have serious interventions.
It is.
We need,
is it one of them? One of the interventions?
it is a minor one. That's what I'm telling you. We need to address climate change from the angle of carbon emissions. We need to have, if government was so much interested in evicting people from swamps, why did they accept an industrial area in Mbale? On Mbale, on the road from Mbale to Tirinyi, there is a factory there for Chinese. It's in a swamp. When you go to Namamve, where Coca-Cola is produced, it is in a swamp. So, is it only intentional that government doesn't want people to cultivate swamps, while in Mbale, there is an industry in a swamp? We need a coherent government policy on climate change, which covers the whole Uganda, not one which only oppresses the people of Gweri, while people in Mbale have actually a full factory, a full industrial area in a swamp. Same applies to Namamve and many other areas. If I had more time, I could actually tell you. Because the other day, the richest man in Uganda, Ham Chigundu, was allowed to construct on a drainage channel in the middle of Kampala. You are aware of that, Bwana Moderator? Is that not an environmental issue? But he had actually a letter that authorized him to do something which is clearly illegal, something which will clearly destroy the environmental ecosystem of Kampala. So these are the problems that we are facing, real issues, where government is talking this way and acting in a different way. So how is a common man really going to believe that government has good intentions? They need to style up and get something concrete.
Thank you on that one. And then the other response, how do you think you can achieve the togetherness to push for those issues in Parliament as a region?
The first issue with relation to the togetherness as a region is that, first of all, the people of Gweri need to elect visionary leaders. The visionary leader they have today on the ballot in 2026 is none other than me, Opolot Ebo. The people of other regions, of other constituencies in Teso need to do the same thing. When they do that, then the leaders of Teso who are elected need to go beyond party affiliations. The reason why my brother here was saying Teso Parliamentary Group has not met in 5 years is basically because we have had people considering their political affiliations as being more important than their being collectively people of Teso. I want to say this. As Opolot Ebo, I am an Etesot before I'm a Ugandan. I hope I'm clear. I am an Etesot before I'm a Ugandan, and I am an Etesot before I'm a politician. So my being an Etesot should come first before my political party. And some of the people, some of the leaders in Teso are lost. They have put their political party ahead of their ethnicity, which is a problem. These people are literally lost, and that's why you find that the Teso Parliamentary Group is not working. We need the Teso Cultural Union to step up and bring these people together in a meeting that actually addresses the salient interests of Teso. We also have regional government that are provided for in the Constitution. But I can tell you, Bwana Moderator, there has been no possible move by government to implement regional government.
Thank you.
And the regional governments would actually help these people to unite. It would help the leaders to unite.
Thank you so much for your responses. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you, all of you, for this session. You have answered ably. I think our audience is thrilled by your presentations. Thank you so much. I hand you over now to Stephen Ojacho.
Thank you very much. We are still patiently waiting whether the Honorable Herbert Monariko will join us. We are not taking the social media posts that were made by an individuals that we do not know in identity with him. We shall wait whether he will be here. And we shall also remain waiting whether the Honorable Tom Julius Ekudo will join us till the end of the debate. Perhaps they may join along the way. So we shall keep expectant of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming to the second phase, and that is the representative role of the Member of Parliament. We all know that this is where most of the leader, the constituents, either keep relating with the Member of Parliament or clash with the Member of Parliament. Now, I want to start with the Honorable Rhino. In Parliament, you are going to play a diverse role, and one of them is representing your people.
What for your people? And I do believe people of Gweri need a voice, need someone who's going to speak for them. Secondly, I'll make sure I do mobilize for people. The women need to be mobilized. The activities that Parliament classifies, the activities that the government that we're in classifies as activities that are for women, that are for youth, that are for men, and all other teams. I will make sure under Parliament, under the Act of Parliament, that we don't have under what? Undergraduates. We don't have leaders that undercooked. Please, people of Gweri, you need people that are well versed with Parliament. You need people that are going to speak for Parliament. You need people that will be there and speak for you, the people of Gweri. Thank you so very much, Madam Moderator.
I was actually asking on how you will be able to fulfill that power you have, that zeal in terms of representation. But nevertheless, how would you think you will work in unison with the Fourth Estate? How do you think you will be able to work with the Fourth Estate?
Pardon me?
Okay, how do you think you will be able to work in unison with the media.
Thank you so very much. What I can say, I as a candidate or I as an MP who will be elected for Member of Parliament in Gweri, I will make sure that this media as a section has a very strong point, has a very strong arm in the government, because everything runs on media. We live and work with the government that trusts the media so much. I'll make sure I deal hand in hand with the media so that they can help to diversify the information from Parliament, because our people down this side may not have the information, but through the media, they can easily get that information dissected and brought down to people to make sure they do understand what is running in Parliament. The challenge we have as people of Teso, our leaders never come back to us. They go and take part in Parliament, but they never come back and tell us what actually is happening in Parliament. So we need leaders who are going to work with as leaders. We need to do these things, and I advise all my colleagues that as a leader, we should not go to Parliament. If any of you or I myself, if I do get chance, I'll make sure I always inform whatever happens in Parliament. I'll make sure I do inform through all platforms, through the media that you have talked about and other departments. Even I myself, I will make sure the people on the ground are aware about what actually is happening in Parliament. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You can rest for now as I go to Honorable Asubu. Honorable Asubu, you have the background of the civil activism and duly constitutes to 90% of your background. One of the characters you portray is being a well-informed person from the first impression you have given. But when you go to Parliament, how would you measure your effectiveness as a representative of the people of Gweri?
Thank you very much. I'm smiling because already you are giving a credit. The people who are seated here from Gweri, I think you take that as a plus. The question
Not a
is,
plus, it's a description.
yes, and that
Yes.
is me. So already it puts me on the top, because if you are able to describe, you are looking at my attributes. And I want to tell the people of Gweri, Teso, and Uganda at large, you cannot be a leader without the component of activism. The sitting government normally listens through what we do in activism. That's why you see people do demonstrations, you see people do Twitter handles. That is all activism. And I am happy that I have that. You are asking me on how I will measure my effectiveness. The role of a member of parliament, like you are asking my colleague, under representation. First of all, there are sessions in the Parliament of Uganda that I'm supposed to be attending, participating, like any other person. The current members of Parliament, if you look at the attendance, is always below 30%. So for me, David Asubu, I will have to ensure that I am part of 70–80% of those sessions in the Parliament of Uganda. So if I'm able to be part of many of them, I will be able to measure my effectiveness. Number two, you have heard when they're saying many go, they keep quiet for 5 years. I am not that type who will go to Parliament of Uganda and keep quiet for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and again come back to ask for another mandate. You know, I understand the challenges people of Gweri, Soroti, Teso, at large go through. When we started, I told you, I am not inspired by riches. I come from a poor family, and I'm motivated to fix on the challenges that people go through. So by me fixing on some of those challenges in the Parliament of Uganda, as one of the persons who went through, I will be able to measure on my effectiveness. People in Teso, all of us who are seated in the front here, some people, it might be the first time they're engaging with the media. It's on record that Asubu David has been engaging with the media. Government normally listens to the media. And I remember when I was still working for civil society, we trained some of the media people on the governance reporting, because some of them were reporting, they're doing profiling politicians. There's a difference between writing about a politician because he's paying you an allowance and writing on the issues that affect the people. So I'll be able to work with the media for you people to be able to write about issues that affect our people, and for us who sit in the government to be able to take on some of those issues. By so doing, I will be able to assess on my effectiveness. A member of parliament holds a double sword. It's not about sitting in the parliament. My effectiveness. How many times do I consult with the people of Teso and the people of Gweri? How many times? How many times do I speak on their issues? Their issues. Because there is going to Parliament of Uganda and you are speaking on the issues that don't touch the lives of a taxpayer coming from Gweri. Like I told you, as we speak right now, the people of Gweri, one of the things affecting them, especially young people who are seated here, a technical school. For 5 years, no one is talking about that. So if I went to Parliament of Uganda and I'm able to speak about it, but also work with my colleagues, money is there. Work with my colleagues and that issue is fixed. I will be able to assess my effectiveness. On the health center trees, it's not my policy. It's not my health guideline. It's a guideline for government of Uganda that Awaliwal, Gweri, Awukot must be having health center trees. So if I speak about that in the Parliament of Uganda and money is appropriated, our money is there. I told you the ones who are there don't have a heart for you. They're just there to rent you. But you have an opportunity to send a Subu who has a heart to fix your issues. If that is fixed, I will be able to measure my effectiveness. I am sure at the end of the 5 years, Gweri County will never have 5 people who want to contest to go to Parliament of Uganda, because they will be fearing on what I've been able to deliver.
General Asobu, the people of Alere in Gweri, the people of Amodoima, and the people of Abelet are currently facing a crisis of connectivity. So what procedure would you take to table their matter?
One of the things the member of parliament does is to consult, like you have informed me. I hope you know that every member is supposed to be having a personal assistant who is a lawyer to profile on some of those issues. So the first thing I have to do is to profile the issue. After profiling the issue, I will have to lay it in the Parliament of Uganda, because it's an issue affecting.
Can we alternate that microphone? Yes.
We will take this for today, but for next time, we need to be protected that every panelist should be using a microphone. This is a very high-profile platform engagement we are having. You need to address that. This is just a technical issue on batteries. I hope that will be fixed, because this interruption would not be there. But I told you, after profiling the issue, where I'm supposed to talk about the issue is Parliament of Uganda. And when I speak about the issue, I've talked about connectivity. Are you talking about electricity? Are you talking about network, telecom network? Are you talking about the road network? Are you talking about other connectivities? But all these are provided within the guidelines and policies in Uganda, that every taxpayer is supposed to receive a service. If a place is having poor network connections, like I told you, one time when I was working in Katakwe, There is a place in Usuk, Adachar, did not have connectivity for MTN Uganda. I made a phone call. That time I was not a member of parliament. As an activist, I made a phone call direct to MTN Uganda. And when they received my phone call, they were asking me, where are you calling from? I said, I'm calling from Katakwi, one of the remotest districts, and where high-profile leaders are coming. And the gentleman asked me, you are saying that place does not have network connection. Why are you able to be on phone? I told him, I have climbed the tallest tree because I was doing activism. As we speak today, that place has a booster, and the people of Katakwi, that location, are celebrating Asubu. There is an opportunity for people of Gweri and Teso now to celebrate Asubu, especially if I am given the mandate as a member of parliament. The issues in Gweri, I told you, require a person with a heart to fix those issues.
Thank you. Thank you. I will cut you short for now. I know you are an activist. I will have one question for you, but later. I hope I will be reminded. Honorable Abel, you are very much informed on the matters affecting the people at the local level. And since you have been working with the communities, you explained how you attempted to, at a personal level, to contribute to the problem of the health. You talked about the color. You also talked about a number of infrastructures that are dilapidated currently. And if you went to parliament as you are expectant, how would you ensure that the local issues from your constituency are raised and addressed, especially at the national level?
Thank you. The major way in which the issues that your people are facing can be addressed by their member of parliament, first and foremost, is for their member of parliament to actually represent them in parliament. As my brothers have rightly said, with a crisis of attendance of parliamentary sessions. And what also happens is that we also have MPs who attend but do not even mention a single word for 5 years. And that's what has happened to Gweri County. That is what exactly has happened to Gweri County. So as a result, people out there do not even know that there's a county called Gweri, but there's someone receiving salary for Gweri County. So, secondly, you cannot know the issues affecting the people of Gweri when you simply are elected as MP, you go to Kampala, and you don't touch base with your constituency. And that there has been a problem. So how am I going to address that? I will make sure that I actually put barazas in the county where people can meet and give me their views so that I go and represent their views. Remember, when I go to parliament, I am not going there as me. I am going there as the voice of Gweri. Now, even these other things that other people ignore, such as clan meetings, funerals, focus group meetings, meetings with youth, are equally very important, because it is at a funeral that people will tell you an actual issue facing Gweri. They will tell you, you see, there's issue A, B, and C. How else can a leader address these issues? A good leader can be seen from when he's contesting. You find that right now, most of us who are at least I'm happy that the three of us here who are contesting don't have that problem. We are moving and mixing freely with the public. But we have candidates who are being guarded with 15 guns. How is a common man going to reach such a person to give him information? So we are saying, be approachable, be reachable, be available. And I, Opolot Abo, expect to be each and every one of those things if I'm elected by the people of Gweri to be their MP for 2026 to 2031. So the issues that are affecting the people of Gweri are indeed dire. So the issue of radio talk shows is equally very important, because when you come from parliament, the first Actually, the people who have to be my best friends in Soroti City, when I go to parliament, will be the fourth estate, the very people who have actually organized this talk show. Because there is no other way that people down there in Gweri can be able to hear something if it was not on TBS radio or a top radio or Veritas or any other of the media outlets that are available to Teso. Then, we're talking about media. There is actually a media blackout in Teso that people are not talking about. The top newspaper was stopped by government for some mysterious reason. We don't know what reason it was. If they're telling us that they were not making profits, we are not going to accept that reason if I go to parliament as an MP. Because government is not supposed to make profit. Government is supposed to serve the people. Because we are going to pay tax again next year. And therefore, government should not be behaving like a businessman owning Rhino camp where we are here, who requires profit. That is not government. So we are saying, even the revival of a top radio, of a top newspaper, must be high on agenda of anyone who really wants to interact with the people, because people do not know what's happening out there. Now, we also even had, and by the way, for the people of Teso, we should thank the journalists fraternity, because these people even came together to begin I Cherish newspaper. But because of the challenges of running this and that, I think that newspaper was not able to continue. We are now saying, we who go to parliament as MPs in 2026 to 2031 should start a newspaper for Teso, because our language is dying and this is very important to us. So, how else are we going to communicate to people? How else will you know the people's views? If people can't hear from you, people need to hear from you what has happened in parliament, so that then they can also tell you their view. Most of the people we have in Gweri are not fluent in reading English. They are not fluent in reading English, but they can read that so better.
The Honorable Abel, you have taken us through how to identify the problem. Because as you mix up with the people, with the churches, with what and media, so on, can you now take us through how you can address their issues at the national level?
Thank you. Their issues can now be addressed through policy. Now, how are policies formulated? If you have studied the policy formulation process, the policy formulation process begins with a problem identification. What is the problem in Gweri County? This problem, I have to get it first from the common man in Gweri County. After getting this problem, then I can now have my personal assistant, who is a lawyer, do a legislative draft. And I am going to tell the people of Gweri, and indeed the people of Teso, that if elected as member of parliament of Gweri County, I am going to present to parliament the largest number of private members' bills in the history of Uganda by a member of parliament, and it will be done for the good of the people of Gweri and for the good of the people of Teso.
A supplementary question, just like I did it for the Honorable Atsubu. How would you act if your constituency demands conflict with the national interest? If the demands of your constituents are conflicting with the national interest, how would you act to ensure that they benefit?
Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda actually says that power belongs to the people. If anyone comes and says, in fact, there is no part in the Constitution that says that national interest supersedes the power of the people. It's not there in the Constitution. Therefore, if there's a provision in the Constitution that is conflicting with the interests of the people, we even have special interest zones that have been created. Because, let me give you a practical example. The people of Karamoja were not able to go to school to study the way we study from P1 to P7 here in the rest of Uganda. What government did was that they brought alternative basic education for Karamoja. What does that mean? If there is an issue that our people want, which conflicts with the national interest, it is possible for us to pass a legislation that exempts the people of Teso and allows them to do what they want. Because the Constitution said power belongs to the people. It didn't say power belongs to the people, but the people of Teso don't have power. The Constitution didn't say that. So therefore, this can be done through legislation. This can be done through enactment of new laws or repeal of the existing laws. Because these laws are not cast in stone. However, the problem we have today is that when some people have interests in the law, then the laws are easily changed. Like when they want to change term limits and age limits, it goes very easily. But when the people of Gweri now want something, why can't they get it?
In the year 2012, we saw a demonstration by the people of Arapai over the Soroti University. The interest of government had conflicted with the interest of the constituents. Assuming the same situation came to Gweri, how will you address that matter as a member of parliament?
Thank you. I want to begin with the issue of Soroti University. The land that Soroti University is sitting on belonged to the mighty Teso College Aloet, where I studied from senior 1 to senior 6. And I'm an OB of Teso College Aloet. We used to eat mangoes in that land where the university is now. Now, what happened actually was that there were people who were displaced by war many years back and had settled on Teso College land. However, because they had settled for Teso College land for a long time, they deserved compensation. The problem, however, is that when people came to set up Soroti University, they came with the land title of Teso College, which they had subdivided, created a new title from Teso College land, and they wanted to evict these people without compensation. There is no place in the world where such a thing can be acceptable. There's no place on earth where such a thing is justifiable. And therefore, the people who are protesting were really asking for what is rightly theirs. I do not see any problem with people asking for compensation when they are being moved out for university to be constructed. As for Gweri, we now have someone who has come as one of the contestants in Gweri, but he is a chairperson of Natural Resources and Environment Committee. Now, the contestant, however, because government has kept secret issues to do with minerals and natural resources, we know that if anything of that nature happens in Gweri constituency, in Gweri County, we should have someone who is not a chairperson of natural resources, because he will have a conflict of interest in the matter. So we want the people of Gweri to wake up and ensure that when such a thing happens, they need to have a voice that can speak for them. They need to have someone who can fight for them. They need to have someone who is bold in the August House. And that someone is none other than Opolot Abel, whom you are listening to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a logical question. And one of the role of the members of parliament, you are the custodian of the public resources. And I'm aware that in such circumstances, we want to trim leaders who should be able to do the proper role of representation. So thank you very much for the deliberation. And that takes us to the next session. I'll hand back the microphone to Peterson to take us through the budgetary aspect of the member of parliament. Otherwise, I have loved interacting with you in my session, and I hope I will get back again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen, and thank you so much, candidates. I hope the technical team has worked on the microphone of candidate David Asubu. when it gets interruptions, it gets a little bitter. We request that you calm down, that the technical team is not intentionally messing your microphone like you want to insinuate it. The microphones are enough, the batteries are enough, but those are technical issues. It's them who know. It's not good for you to make conclusions that way and make the technical team look like they are doing something wrong with your microphone. However, apologies, we pray it doesn't happen anymore. Thank you. In this session, we want to understand how probably we deal with issues of budgeting, issues of approval, even oversight as well in this aspect. And I'll start with the candidate Asubo this time around. Don't want your microphone to be off for a long time. One, how will you ensure that constituency needs are reflected in the budget, putting it in mind that our local governments are struggling with budget allocations, they struggle with the policy issues. For example, you know what happened in the public service, the Ministry of Finance, where public service blocked recruitment of staff for some good years. But again, in the budgeting process, money reflects that it is for recruitment of staff. And such monies are returned. And we have members of parliament in place. And you see the Soroti district local government will be recruiting staff. The money is reflecting in the budget. But the other ministry has blocked. As a member of parliament, how would you address some of those issues to see that the needs down here reflected, but maybe they also implemented?
Thank you, Peterson. You made a mention that when my microphone misbehaving, insinuating that someone was not doing his work. I told you, if you want to be a very good leader, you must be an active. It's only activists who speak when there's a problem. They will never keep quiet, just like you. So take that positively from me. For me, as a member of parliament who understands the planning process, the needs of the people of Gweri, the needs are collected from parish level. Those needs, the priorities are collected from parish level. They are taken to sub-county level, from sub-county to district, then from the respective districts to now Kampala. In Kampala, those things go to Ministry of Finance and Planning, which prepares a budget, the national budget now, where they now put all those, all what has been identified as priorities into the budget. Now, the issues around money is being returned. When we started this debate, I told you how some leaders actually are not interested in giving you a service. So some of the guidelines that have been put in place block service delivery. Money is in the budget. Instead of coming in time to a district or a sub-county, that money actually delays to come to the district or sub-county. Because of time element, the district actually fails to utilize the money to address the needs that were collected from respective constituencies, in this case, Gweri, and the money is returned. Any money that is returned, it means the taxpayer in my constituency would have now missed. So for me as a member of parliament, it's my role to keep following. I hope you are aware that members of parliament are supposed to be part of the district councils. And as Subu, when I sit in those district councils, I will be able to scrutinize, to see what has been put in the budget, what has not been, what has not been utilized. Then I make a follow-up. It's just crossing the road from Parliament of Uganda to the Minister of Finance and Planning. For me, I will be able to do that. Of course, we have also come to understand, that there is a racket of leaders who work very hard to make sure that that money is not utilized at district level. That money, when it's returned, that money goes to a consolidated account. And when it goes to the consolidated account, that money now, they use it for other things. And in the process, the people in the constituency actually fail to benefit from the needs that they submitted. So a member of parliament needs to work with the other departments to ensure that what is planned is actually utilized. Besides that, an annual year, I think the district runs July to July of the following year. So there are quarters. My role is to keep on making follow-ups. This quarter, what was released, has it been utilized? If it's not utilized, it's my responsibility and other colleagues to ensure that that is actually fixed. The channels are very clear. I am very sure with the person of Asubu, the experience I have in the planning process, the skills I have in working with others, because a member of parliament does not work in isolation. You work with other technical people. We'll be able to fix this.
Thank you. But just for clarity, because these are the underlying issues. When you say follow up, what exactly? Because that's the word that the incumbent MPs have said. They have followed up. Some of them have even shown correspondences that indeed they are doing follow up, but the status quo remains. So the interest in that question is want to look at how will you achieve that meaningful impact in those areas. The policies are there, yes. Resources are allocated. The same ministries, that frustration that is existing. You get to parliament. How different will you act to make that meaningful change?
I had made a mention about that when you are working as a member of parliament, you are not working in isolation. I think people who are part of government, including technical staff, I think the biggest challenge we have is an issue of motivation. It's an issue of a shared vision. This country has a vision. Some people are in public offices and they do not even understand what they're supposed to be delivering to in those offices. So I want to have the feeling that with the likes of Asubu David and others, when we are able to understand the vision for this country, when we are able to trigger the motivation, the relationship between the taxpayer and the public servants can only be influenced if services reach the common person. Currently, we are seeing the challenges we are seeing because services are not reaching to the common person. That's where the problem is.
Thank you. On the issues of budget allocations, a world sub-counter or court, look at your sub-counties in your constituency. They can barely afford to construct a pit latrine for a school. How do you plan as a member of parliament to push or to advocate or to lobby whatsoever to see that your local governments in your constituency receive adequate funding?
There is always one thing many people cry about. If you ask people who are in government to give you accountability over taxpayers' money, many of them begin to insult the taxpayer. and they say, we are struggling to give you the services you are asking for because you have become very many. That this country called Uganda started when we were, I think, 8 or 9 million Ugandans. Now we are 45. Sometimes they are saying we are 47. For me, with the background I have, all of us, we are paying indirect taxes. When the population of a country, of a sub-county is big, it means we are generating more taxes, more money is being generated. When we are working in a sub-county local government, there are other opportunities where you are supposed to work with the councillors, work with other stakeholders. Number one, to start markets. Markets that generate money that go to a sub-county. Not only that, if you have, now you have reminded me, for people who are public servants, they pay as you earn, local service tax. I told you, Gweri County is supposed to be having a health center 4, with a population of about 60 health workers. 60. Right now, ask yourself, how many are in Gweri? So if Gweri was having 60 workers in health center 4, we would be able to generate more money as taxes from what they earn. And that money would be channeled to give services to the people of a respective sub-county. So it's my role to work with the other stakeholders.
Thank you.
Identify other.
That is another role you would do, maybe as an ex-officio, but I wanted to hear your role in Parliament to ensure that your local governments get better funding in Parliament.
I made a mention already. I told you 75% of Ugandans are farmers. There's already a policy, a guideline saying government of Uganda should be able to increase our tax, the money in the budget from 2.7% to about 15%, and that has not yet happened. So if there's an opportunity for us to do that, it means members of parliament, they need to be like-minded. They need to feel for Ugandans. They need to know that they are public servants and are working for Ugandans. And by the time we become aware of that, then we will be able to appropriate money according to that. I told you money is appropriated according to numbers. Soroti district, if the number of people in Soroti district is small, you are not going to push for billions of money when the number is small. So it's by standard that you get what you get according to numbers. But also there are opportunities for you to identify taxation streams. The parish chiefs,
thank you.
community development officers do that.
On the very one. Okay, let's talk about the budgeting process in the Parliament. That's where my interest is. What best can you do in the budgeting process in Parliament?
Very, very simple.
Yes.
I told you
to make sure
yes,
where the local government.
I have understood you. I told you when priorities are generated locally and are sent to Kampala, Ministry of Finance, they do a budget. I think the challenge we have been having, members of parliament who have been there before, do not go on the background to check. Nowadays, even the thieves steal from the budgets. For good leaders who have a heart for their people, they go to the technical staff to check before you wait to receive the budget in the Parliament of Uganda to review and approve. So David Azasubu, if the people of Gweri give me that opportunity to go as a member of Parliament, it's my role before the budget actually is brought to Parliament of Uganda, for me to go to Ministry of Finance, Planning and Finance, to cross-check. Cross-check, is this already in the budget? Is this? And if that is already there, we'll just wait for approval in the Parliament of Uganda, and my job will be done.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me get to candidate Opolot. Abel, what policy changes do you recommend in the budgeting process to make budget implementation more meaningful to the people of Gweri County?
Thank you, moderator. I think next time we come back for the debate of 2031 to 2036, you will get us these mics that are, because I was actually about to speak without the mic, thinking that I would be hard. So, the policy changes in budgeting are huge that need to be made. I myself worked in local government for 5 years, from 2008 to 2013. I was in Kabaramaido District Local Government, and I can tell you, as someone who was actually in the hot seat, that our planning and budgeting process in Uganda is not responsive to the common man. Now, my brother here already made a comment about how budgeting starts from the village parish level. Now, we have a huge gap in how the priorities are captured from the parishes. What do I mean? These priorities are captured by CDOs or other government staff, but the problem that we have is that there is usually no evidence of how many people attended this parish meeting. So the big question will be, how representative are these priorities you say you are getting from the villages and parishes of Gweri? How representative are they? So going forward, there is need for policy change, whereby we need empirical evidence of how many people. We know that Telamot Parish has this population of registered voters, adult people. How many of those people have actually participated in generating priorities? Because what has happened is that a few 6 people sit down and generate priorities for an entire parish. Those priorities reach the district, and then later, when government is now doing the rest of its work, there's a huge challenge. So that policy change needs to be done. The other policy change that needs to be done is that the district should compel all members of parliament to be present. I also, like I'd said earlier, while working at Kabaramaido district, I also worked as clerk to council. But I can tell you that in the district council, there is a huge disease. That disease is called absence of members of parliament. There are ex-officials there. They don't participate in district council meetings. They don't participate in sub-county council meetings. These people, after they are elected, treat themselves like they are kings or small gods. And we have to stop that and send people who are really going to be actively fighting for the common man. And right now, that person doing so in Gweri County is none other than Opolot Abel. Then, another policy shift that has got to be done, and that takes me to the question you had asked earlier, has got to be in parliament. Because the challenge has been that in parliament, when budgets are laid before the August House, there's a huge challenge in that there's a lot of aggregation of the budget items, whereby if you looked at the national budget and you try to look for Soroti, you look for Gweri, you will find Soroti and you may not find Gweri. So there is need for further disaggregation of the national budget that is presented before the August House, so that in parliament, as a member of parliament, I'm able to see for Gweri, okay, how many schools are they going to, how many blocks are they going to do? What about upgrading Gweri Health Center 3 to Gweri Health Center 4? Is it being done? However, these people lump it up and say, we are going to upgrade 8 Health Center 3s to Health Center 4 in Eastern Uganda, something like that. And now that's tricky. You actually don't know where the hand is going to land. And because that isn't clear, other counties are getting left behind. So these are major policy shifts that need to be done. Policy shift, the final policy shift, and which is the biggest, is that when you look at our national budget, we have, for this financial year, we have a national budget of 72 trillion. Now, comes the first problem to our budget is corruption. Because the IGG has already said that we lose 10 trillion every year to corruption. Imagine, from 72 trillion, we are losing 10, meaning the rest of us in Uganda will only use 62 trillion. And there are people, some of them are even contesting in Gweri, who are on that list of MPs who are actually the most corrupt in the country. Some of them are on the list which Kiburi, CID headquarters, was we actually, when I go to Parliament, I'll be asking
thank
Kibuli how
you.
far they have
I'll
gone on
cut
that.
a little short. So, in those policy changes, you have, yes, you've answered the question. I would like your policies.
Bwana Moderator, I wanted to add in an addendum to my presentation, if you will permit me, sir.
Okay, fine.
There is another cancer which is affecting us as people of Soroti. That cancer is underfunding of Soroti City. Soroti City is the least funded city in Uganda, and we do not have the least population. We are being cheated. We need to send someone there who will tell these people that we are being cheated, so that we get funds coming here. Soroti Regional Hospital is the least funded regional hospital, and yet we do not have the smallest population. Actually, the ITSO, from the research sense, is
You
one of
can,
the biggest strides.
yes, okay. I asked for policy changes now, because the follow-up is now. The policy changes you mentioned, how can they influence, how can they make service delivery meaningful to Gweri? Looking at the key issues you raised for Gweri sub-county, look at the policy changes we've said, because the interest is Gweri county.
The policy changes that I have already proposed will actually be automatically meaningful. Why do I say that? If a majority of the people of Gweri have participated in identifying priorities of their parishes, then it means that when it comes to the point where the budget is being implemented, then the things that the people have asked for are the ones that will be delivered. Right now, there's a mismatch. There's a huge mismatch, Bwana Moderator, between what the people of any given parish, not just in Gweri, across Uganda. There's a big mismatch between what the people of the parish want and what government is delivering. And that is why we have found, Bwana Moderator, that our poverty levels are stuck. They are still very low, because poverty is still a challenge in Uganda, because there has been failure by government to actually make interventions that are benefiting the common man.
Okay, on that, what are, you said there's a mismatch between what government is prioritizing to what the people need. Let's talk about that mismatch in Gweri. What are the key issues that the people are interested in? And then what is government bringing on table?
Right now, the people of Gweri need improved saturation, an improved road network. But in the 5 years, from 2021 to 2026, even when 1 billion is being sent to the district, and we have 3 counties, I am telling you, when I try to look for where the money sent to Gweri County has been used in, it's a challenge. So the roads have remained poor, and that's a demand of the people. We have a health center 3 that needs to be elevated to health center 4, because Gweri is now a county. My colleague has already expounded on that issue. That is not happening. Instead, we have a health center 3 being renamed health center 4 without being provided with the requisite facilities. We have issues to do with the demands of people to do with agriculture. People need support in agricultural services.
But I think Gweri Health Center 4, it is earmarked already in the National Development Plan and in the process, right? So don't you think the government is on track on that side?
Bwana Moderator, earmarking is one thing, but we need leaders who are going to be very, very active for the people. We need leaders who are going to push the center to deliver. You see, earmarking is just the first step. After that, then they will tell you there are no funds, but the thing was earmarked. Take for example, the road to Serere. The road to Serere passing through Agu. That road was not just earmarked. Even funds were released. But I am telling you, the people in UNRWA managed to divert those funds to roads in a certain region of Uganda other than Teso, and yet the roads were earmarked there. Why? Because the leaders were not assertive.
Candidate Abel, you want to say UNRWA diverted the funds for that road?
They diverted the funds that were meant for that road.
UNRWA has no capacity or powers really to divert funds.
They
Maybe
have-
you said the ministry.
The fact that they have no capacity does not mean that they did not do it. They actually did it.
No, that's not true.
It
Thank
is
you.
It is a fact that can even
Uganda National Roads Authority.
Bwana Moderator.
That power.
Bwana Moderator.
Listen to the moderator. That power, is UNRWA cannot divert funds.
Information moderator.
Another one.
Information
That
moderator.
is from the ministry.
Information
probably.
moderator.
Thank you.
Information.
Thank you.
Information.
I will not take your information. Thank you so much.
Can I give some
Thank
information?
you so much.
Can I give some information?
You will give that at your time.
It relates to,
At another opportunity.
it might be lost at that time.
Keep it. Note it. You have a pen. Let me get to an Inu. Keep it. You have a pen. If you want to give it information, we shall give you that opportunity later on. But thank you so much. Let me get to candidate Enino. The national budget issues. You are aware that every year we take a lot of loans, and just a few weeks, members of parliament will again passing a budget. We again approving another loan. Now, under what circumstances would you oppose? Maybe let me first put this on record. Are you an independent candidate? NRM leaning, opposition leaning?
NLM leaning.
Oh, thank you. That's an interesting one. Under what circumstances would you oppose a national budget or a proposed government loan? Looking at what has happened recently, where members of parliament went and approved requests for huge loans, which most of you that are campaigning, apart from the incumbents, and I think you've also seen these messages everywhere, that they received a package, which we cannot confirm, but we've had those reports, that they approved loans and they have been given a package to go and campaign. We cannot verify, but that's what is there. I don't know if any of you has that information. You can verify. You have confirmed that, but that's there. Some members of opposition have said so, especially the ones of National Unity Platform. But opposing loans and then the budget, opposing a national budget, under what circumstances should an MP do that? It's a key question, because if it is a loan and the money, the program is going to be implemented in your constituents, I think it is related to what the other question. Government interest versus the interest of the people. If the road is in your constituents, and that is under what circumstances would you oppose a loan for that road that's going to be constructed?
Thank you so very much. Actually, I've rested for a while. I was waiting for such interaction. But to answer you, I would say this. As an MP or as a leader, you don't need. As an MP or as a leader, we don't need to be yes, yes people. We have leaders who are always saying yes, yes, yes to everything. As an MP in Nusamale Kaju, I am a sober leader. And personally, for the people of Gweri, for the people of Teso, for the people of Uganda, I would do this. I would make sure that I disagree with government budgeting in case there is no transparency. For budgeting issues, we must make sure there is transparency in the activities. Miss what? Transparency in the budgeting processes. I wouldn't agree. I would stand on my two legs and stand and oppose the budget. Because
so
surely
you'll oppose the interests of Gweri.
No, not
when there is no transparency, right?
I would oppose the budget, because on opposing the budget, because that pushes the pressure on my people of Gweri. People of Gweri are paying taxes. So when I am a yes, yes person, the impact goes back to the people of Gweri. So meaning, if they are making a budget and there is no transparency in the budget, meaning lots of funds are going to be used, and those funds are to be people who do agriculture. just in case, let's say there is a budget what? Appropriation to buy weapons. Why buy weapons? We need weapons. We need money to put into the agriculture. We need money to do sensible activities. As the person, as the leader, when elected, I wouldn't say yes to such money. We know of money that was passed to buy weapons. Weapons to buy you. To fight who? So as the person, I wouldn't what? Agree with that. And I would say no to that. Thirdly, as the person still, I wouldn't agree with what? With any budget issues concerning activities that are not what? Straight to the nation. We have activities that run in our countries here that surely I can give an evidence and history of MPs who were taken on trip. They went to Dubai. Dubai to do what? I'm told they went there to do benchmarking. Benchmarking about what? Such an what? Priorities of the nation. There are roads to be constructed. There are hospitals to be what? To be averted. There are things that are very important.
Candidate, and in one of the priorities in Parliament is to buy for you a vehicle of 300 million. When you've just sworn in, will you oppose
personally as an
that budget of 300 million?
Personally, as an Inusamale Kaju, yes, I would oppose. Surely, as an MP, why need a car worth that money? Right now, I have a car that is moving me. It's a normal car. Don't I reach Kampala? Don't I go wherever I go? So personally, as a candidate, as an MP, I would oppose that. Let that money be put for people to use. And I promise my people of Gweri that being elected a member of parliament for Gweri, I promise that I will bring back this money to the people of Gweri. I don't need a car of 300 million. I don't need it. So such money needs to be brought to activities than just buying a car. Because look at now. So however much I'm in NRM, we know we as NRM, we are known to be yes people. But I assure you people of Gweri, I assure you people of Uganda, that NRM as the party also has sober MPs. MPs who are going to stand for the people, MPs who are going to say no if it is the no. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, maybe I'll ask you one other question, because you did talk about the priorities of your people. Yes. What key issues stand out in Gweri County that you think have not been addressed by the current member of parliament?
Thank you so very much. Earlier on, when they were talking about me, they clearly mentioned that I am a medical worker, I am a doctor by profession. As a person, I say this and I will stand on my 2 feet and say that Gweri, as a county where I come from, we have not been valued. We have not been surely put into consideration for the health sector. That's why very many issues are coming up. Gweri is still standing back on the issue of health care. And as a person, I look forward to making sure the healthcare sector in my Gweri County, where I'm going to be a member of parliament soon, I do believe I will make sure what I stand on that. Secondly, the issue of infrastructure in Gweri. Gweri as the county, we are still lagging back on the issue of infrastructure. You find that our roads have been worked on soon simply because for campaigns. But we don't need such activities. These roads need to be worked on not before or during campaigns, but these things need to be done during normal what? Circumstances. Then again, Gweri as a county, we are known to be the only place in Uganda that where oranges are diverse. What is happening to our oranges in Gweri? We don't have market. So as a person, as a sober leader from Gweri, I'm going to make sure, and I'll make sure that these challenges concerning the market of products from Gweri is known to be the orange market in the country. But where is the orange market? We have companies here that are being put in Teso, industrial what? Industrial hub, but they are not buying from us. And they say our oranges are not of that quality that they do buy. But
Thank you.
surely, what is
Thank
happening?
you. Thank you so much. You've touched. I asked that question because of your response. Thank you so much. Well, before I hand over, let me get back to candidate Abel. You had the clarity you wanted. Let me give you that opportunity. Yes, please. About UNRWA, how they diverted money from one road, they took to another region. I think you still had something about that.
Yes, thank you so much for permitting me back. The diversion of those funds is something very painful, and it actually happened. And how did I know that it happened? I would never have known. But the Honorable Ebwalu Jonathan, the MP for Sorot City West, is actually the one who spoke about it. And it was in public, on radio. So if he spoke about it and it was a lie, then someone else should have come and corrected him. He even spoke about it on the floor of Parliament. And what I was simply trying to bring to you and to the people of Teso is that even though the law doesn't allow them to do a transfer of the money from this road to another road, we have something called abuse of office. That in fact takes me to the issue that you raised earlier about funds that were brought for recruitment by public service. These funds were not brought there for recruitment. There was already a ban. If those funds are brought there, it is a game that is played in government, where those funds are brought there, but there's a ban on recruitment, so that money can be stolen. Public service has had the biggest scandal.
Thank you for the clarity, but I also remind you that members of parliament have immunity in the parliament, and they can say anything. That's one. Two, when they say anything, it is also quoted. Maybe even parliament is live on TV, it's everywhere. So many times, those statements, we need follow up on them. But what is clear is that until the ministry diverts, there is no way UNRWA really will pay. That is by policy. And if that happens, it will have been one of the biggest scandals in the country. But that's how it is. But thank you for the clarity, for the source of your information. I think maybe, Asubu, you had, maybe, I don't know if your issue has been sorted.
My issue came out when we are talking about a health center for being earmarked for years. I wanted to remind you that it's a government policy that any new administrative unit that is carved becomes with a budget that addresses all the issues affecting the people of that area.
Not true.
It's very painful that Gweri County has been having 2 members of parliament for 10 years, for 5 years, two. And
How
you are
possible
here.
is that?
Of course, I told you, when you're a member of parliament, you are not just working for your constituency.
Okay.
So from that background, now you agree with me that Gweri County has been having two
We
members
know
of
one.
parliament. Take it from me. Take it from me. So it's wrong for government to steal taxpayers. For 5 years, government is still earmarking Health Center 4, Health Center 3 of Gweri to become Health Center 4. That is, for me, that is broad day robbery. Government is actually stealing our own people, including the technical schools we are talking about. There is a guideline talking about a technical school. Young people who are seated here.
Yeah, I think those policies are bigger, not only Gweri, not only
yes,
schools, not only health centers.
I am using Gweri as an example.
Thank you.
So it's wrong for government to keep earmarking for 5 years, for 10 years you are earmarking, and young people are not taking responsibility. Young people do not know that they're actually missing that. So for me, it pains me.
Thank you so much. We maybe shall have 1-2 rounds of questions, and then we shall go to crossfire, and we shall pick questions from the audience. Thank you so much for the session.
Thank you very much, Peterson. And We are almost coming to the conclusion of this debate because we are expecting that by 11 when we to allow people go. Oversight is one of the noble roles of a member of parliament. And we know that the members of parliament do monitor the government actions, its spendings, and compliance with the law. I want to start with the Honorable Rhino. I ask the House to be orderly because we are in a debate. What will you do as a member of parliament of Gweri in case the government actions violate the constitution of citizens or the citizen rights? What would you do? How will you approach the situation?
Thank you so very much. To respond to you, I, as a member of parliament of Gweri County, I wouldn't sit back and watch government violating the rights of my people by doing this. I would stand up. I would raise up and make sure I raise consent in parliament because everything moves around parliament. When you stand up in parliament and raise consent, it brings government attention and conversation because raising concerns can come in very many ways. I can move a motion, I can bring up a bill that is against any activity that government brings in that's against my people. Secondly, I will use parliamentary proceedings. Usually in parliament, there are what they call parliamentary proceedings, whereby you sit in different committees and talk and agree. So as the member of parliament, I will make sure I use my parliamentary proceedings and engage my fellow MPs during committees because there are different committees in parliament of different departments, defense, health. So I will use those different proceedings in parliament to make sure that I raise concern, I raise against any activity that government is doing against my people. Then again, I would engage with the public. We as leaders have to learn the art of Of engaging with the public. If you find some activity or if you find a situation that is challenging back there in parliament, you have the right as a leader to come on ground and speak to your people and tell them, my people, this is what is happening in parliament. Then get their recordings and take back feedback. After you gathering, you have a right to take it to parliament after gathering that feedback and use it as as the stand in parliament that this is what I've brought for my people. If Gweri, for instance, Gweri has a number of people around 27,000 voters. If I can come to Gweri and collect hands and collect evidence and recordings from my people saying that they are not ready and they are not happy with a certain activity that's being input to them by the government, I can use still that. Then finally, I would say judicial intervention. As a person, if I find an activity that is not good and not welcome to my people and no one is coming in, I would say judicial intervention. I would get lawyers. Government, yes, we know government is a very big organ, but you as the leader, we as the people can take government to court. For For bringing an activity that is against your rights, that's against your your activities or anything that you feel like it will affect you as an individual. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, the Honorable Rhino. Honorable Asubu. As a member of parliament, what tools can parliament use to ensure transparency in government contracts and public spending?
There are many tools government can use. The budget itself is a tool. And I wanted to inform the House that when we are discussing about these roles, they don't stand alone. These roles build on one another. So for me, when I'm a member of parliament, and money has been allocated to some program, a government program, and I would like to go down to see whether that money has been utilized properly. I will start by using the budget to go and follow up, check, is it true that this money reached? If money is supposed to come to Gweri, I can as well come up with a tool which is looking out for information on results. Results can be obtained after a long time, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. For government, it can even be 10 years. It's not my role as a member of parliament to design that tool, but the respective technical people in those line ministries, their role to design those tools. Of recent, I shared a radio talk show with a woman member of parliament of Kumi, and there was something she was discussing, how a committee of parliament came on ground to assess performance, and they used a tool which was designed for them, and that tool helped them to collect data which was analyzed and meaning was made, and the report was provided. So government of Uganda can also use such a tool. Of course, there are also a report itself is also a tool of a program. A report of a program, something that happened, and government would like to get information in relation to what was funded. That is also a tool that can be used. There could be many tools. There could be many tools. Sometimes even civil society comes in to do assessments in relation to government programs. You have seen Barasas, we have been talking about Barasas. It's also another tool. If we are talking about chaos, if government of Uganda compensated the number of people in Teso before the recent discussion we're having, we would be able to call the people of Gweri for a meeting where we are discussing how much money was allocated to cattle compensation. How many people in Teso received the cows? How many from Gweri? Then we assess the impact. So that is also a tool that can be used, the Barasa. There could be many tools, but I could be able to share with you that. I submit.
Thank you very much. Now, if I ask you, Honorable Asubu, what committee would you prefer in case you successfully went to parliament?
I would want to be in a committee of talked about this.
Okay. So how would you use the Parliamentary Committee of Public Accounts to prevent misuse of funds?
It's very simple. In that committee, our role is to write reports, collect enough evidence, and present. I told you, when the people of Gweri send me to Parliament of Uganda as a member of parliament, I don't work in isolation. Even the committee does not work in isolation. By the time we are put in that committee, it means there is a lot of appreciation that we'll be able to deliver on the tasks we are assigned to do. So when we collect data, when we collect a lot of evidences, we turn that into our reports, which reports we present in the Parliament of Uganda. Well, the reports might have some issues that require more information. We would be able to present that, but not until Parliament of Uganda appreciates the fact that there is value for money, taxpayers' money.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Abel. Uganda has kept on losing money at the watch of Parliament. And this has happened in several occasions. In Teso here, we saw in 2011 that Uganda lost money, Gavi funds, to some of the ministers. We saw the issue of Karamoja iron sheets coming up in the recent parliament. As a member of parliament, how would you hold ministers and government officials accountable for corruption or poor performance?
Thank you. I want to inform the people of Gweri County that these here are very serious issues, and I'm surprised that the moderator touched on Gavi funds, which was a very serious scandal and affected so many healthcare initiatives. The moderator also touched on the iron sheet scandal, which we all know was one of, and it will go down in history as one of the most embarrassing scandals for the NRM, because you had full ministers stealing a couple of iron sheets. So this was really a very, very bad incident, but we all know that accountability has already been stolen by the legal procedures, because the DPP recently dropped even charges against the only remaining people in that scandal. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, the Honorable Amos Lugorovi was the only one remaining in that. And so essentially, the iron sheets were lost. But going back to the iron sheet scandal, we wonder why Karamoja has iron sheets allocated to them and other regions. Because remember that in Uganda, the second poorest region, as per the government data, is Teso. Teso doesn't have iron sheets. These are the things that we need to go to parliament to fight for. And I can guarantee that if Teso gets iron sheets, no one will even touch iron sheets from Teso, because they know Opolot Abo is there, and I am telling you, we shall expose them. One of the duties, which is not written in the law of an MP, is to be a whistleblower. The more noise an MP makes, the more fearful the thieves become. That's what actually happens in this country, because in this country, we already have thieves. Some are being protected by their bosses, others are being protected by the system, because the system is deeply entrenched. Now, the previous moderator had actually asked, how is the system entrenched? Let me go back to what the previous moderator initially asked about how the NRM is able to fund their candidates. The NRM doesn't have a business they are running. The NRM doesn't have any source of income anywhere on earth and in heaven. But these people are able to give every MP 500 million for campaigns. So the question is, where do they get the money? Ladies and gentlemen, and the people of Gweri, these are your taxes that they are using for campaigns. You cannot tell me that you are eating meat every day and you are not employed, and then you tell me, I have my money, but you are the one looking after my chicken and my cattle. It means you're actually the one stealing my things. So these are the things that we need to change. These are the things that we need to change about governance in this country to improve on the country. I want to go to the budget corruption. There was a recent scandal of budget corruption where the honorable MP, some honorable MPs were arrested, including the MP from Mawanda, including Mawanda. You didn't mention that, but that is even a more serious scandal, because some of the MPs in Teso, some of the MPs in Gweri were actually also mentioned in those scandals, and they were on the list number 8. So you can imagine what we are dealing with. So my message to the people of Gweri is that if you people want government to provide services, then don't send thieves to Kampala. It is simple. But you cannot send a thief to Kampala, then when things are stolen, then you say government is not building for us schools. Government has not elevated the health center 3 of Gweri to health center 4. Then Gweri sub-county does not have health center 3. You already sent a thief to Kampala. What were you expecting?
So, Honorable, how will you hold ministers and government officials accountable for corruption and poor performance? Thank you that you have given us these scenarios and the examples, the cases you have actually revealed. But how, in your capacity as a member of parliament, in case the people of Gweri sent you there, how will you hold the ministers and public servants accountable?
First and foremost, we have committees of parliament. And these different ministries, agencies, and departments belong to one or more of those committees of parliament. So through the committees of parliament, these people can be put to task. One of them is the committee you mentioned, public accounts. There are other committees like COSASE. And we've had people who have performed exceptionally well in those committees as MPs. How have they been able to hold those people to account? By their committee resolutions. Because when I go to parliament, the issues will be that we have to make recommendations, we have to make resolutions by the committee that are binding, we have to make resolutions by committees of parliament that can actually bring about change in the August House. And remember that the committees have their powers. Some of those powers cannot even be overruled by the parliament. So we have an avenue by the committee. We also have another avenue during my time in parliament, and I'm going to ask, as soon as I get to parliament, I'll ask the speaker to give me more time, because we have issues of Gweri. Gweri has been underrepresented for five years. Our minutes were being used by other constituencies, so they need to add us time in 2026 to 2031, so that we present serious issues there. And through the August House, we can then ask the lead of government business to put these ministers and civil servants to task. It is actually a very, very easy thing for a person of my nature to achieve when I'm in the August House. And I'm saying this to the people of Gweri. If we're sending someone to the August House, let's send someone who is bold. Let's send someone who is looking for the growth of Gweri County. Let's not send someone who is in Gweri County while planning to go elsewhere, as we have already noticed.
Honorable, we cannot for now examine the accusations you are putting on the ground about the people you claim to be thieves who are in Gweri. How many are they?
Do you realize that you called all 5 MPs and suddenly you only have 3? So what I can actually tell the people of Gweri is that the people who are going to listen to you, the people who will be with you for the 5 years, 2026 to 2031, are the people seated here today. The people who have not showed up here, have given up on Gweri. These are people who simply want to use Gweri like a towel, and then they throw it away. There are these sanitary towels that people actually throw away and never remember. It has already been done to other constituencies. Please, the people of Gweri, our humble request is that don't let this be done to our motherland, to our mother county of Gweri. That's my humble request
Okay,
to all the people of Gweri County.
You will make that appeal, you will re-echo that one. We have a space for the conclusive comments by each one of you, but just the last one with you. What committee of parliament would you prefer in case you went to parliament?
I think that my preference may not be what they might give me, because I prefer to be in the infrastructure committee, but they might give me to be in COSASE so that I roast the thieves that we have in this country. That's what I can tell you. I'm already promising you in advance, I'll be in COSASE. I need to roast those people.
Honorable, I'm not asking for the one they might give you. I'm asking that which one would you prefer?
The truth is that I am a multidisciplinary trained person, and whatever committee of parliament that I sit in, I will be able to represent my people of Gweri County effectively. I do not have a preference because I am widely knowledgeable and widely informed on various fields, and I believe that this country will be able to use me as they please when I reach the Parliament of Uganda. And as for the people of Gweri, I'll be able to represent their interests regardless of which committee of parliament I am in.
Okay. Thank you very much. And that takes me now to Peterson for the next interesting level. But meanwhile, Peterson will be taking the candidates through the crossfire. It's very simple. Both of you will be asked to ask a question to any candidate of your preference. And I also ask the members in the House to be bringing their questions in written to Grace. Grace will be seated here to receive them so that we can be able to save time. Immediately after that, we shall receive the questions. And we also encourage the members following us on social media to continue typing their questions so that we can be able to select them at random to make them inclusive in this discussion. Peterson.
Thank you. Our target was to finish at 11, and we allocated you enough time. I hope you have really deliberated and you are satisfied with the time. I want to thank our producer, Savon, for the wonderful production we are having, very quality. And I also inform you that the two who are not here are watching. They are watching very, very, very. I have evidence that they are watching. The messages we are receiving, they are watching. Some of their colleagues are telling us they are watching. So, but I don't know if you, but don't ask them questions because they can't respond, even when they are watching, when you get that chance. But there is one question for you before you go for crossfire. Candidate David Asubu, how will you ensure that laws passed by Parliament respond to the people's needs, or they actually represent the people's views? Remember, we had where a session where people were saying no, people in the Parliament said yes, moreover on TV. That's an interesting scenario. From the corridors, we know that there is a very controversial bill that might come very soon. You are going to Parliament, and maybe that's the first bill that you're going to encounter. If people say no, will you say yes? If people say yes, and your conscience is saying no, how will you handle those controversies?
Thank you for that question. When you're a member of Parliament, you represent your constituency. At least I know that. When you choose to say yes to certain things, you are saying that on behalf of the people you represent. That does not mean that everything you are saying yes to, the people you represent actually agree with you. I hope I have not managed to confuse you. For the mere fact that you are number one citizen in a constituency, it means you have read the law very well. You understand the issues that affect your people, and therefore you are actually leading from within them and sometimes from in front. When I say you are leading from in front, sometimes there are discussions that come from Kampala, from Parliament of Uganda, that you don't have time to go and consult. But they are asking you to say yes or no. So you should be able to understand priorities, issues, the perspective of your people, so that it's actually representative in the Parliament of Uganda. So for me, I would make sure that every other time I am consulting with my people. Every other time I am adding value to myself by reading the researches that have been done, Because sometimes there are some things you might be having information that your people do not have. I think we are starting to initiate the discussion that might come from Parliament of Uganda. The people who are watching us here, anyone you are going to elect and that person is an NRM or NRM leaning will not say no to what is going to be discussed in Parliament of Uganda. Because the discussion is going to rotate on land. Government of Uganda wants actually to remove land from you, said that land is actually owned by government. Right now, land is owned by you. But because sometimes government is saying when they want to make some developments, there are some citizens resist. Even when they want to compensate, sometimes citizens want a lot of money. And because of that, government wants to take that land. Then for us, we keep it in trust of government. If you send people who are NRM leaning, it's a loss for you. If you send people who are NRM, they cannot say no to that. It's a total lie. So I want to ask you people, look for people who are standing as independent.
But candidate,
Either
you
FDP
just
leaning.
said that you think in NRM there are a number of leaders like you who will also represent what their people have said.
I am not in NRM.
Yes.
Issues in NRM are discussed in Chankwanzi. And when they agree from Chankwanzi, whether you NRM leaning, when they agree from Chankwanzi, my dear, those discussions, those agreements, that is what they consider in Parliament of Uganda.
Thank you.
So
Thank
for
you
us
so
to,
much.
For us to have a leveled ground, you need to vote for people like Asubu who will be there to protect what you have.
You will come with a closing statement on that. I just need an answer. Let me get to candidate Eninu. Now, how can a parliament involve citizens and civil society effectively in the lawmaking process? Candidate David Asubu is smiling like I wish that was my question. But the lawmaking process is interesting. That as we speak now, many Ugandans do not understand the smallest fraction of laws. But we have leaders who enact these laws. And it is difficult to find a consultation or a baraza discussing a law which is going to be amended in Parliament. Yes, we had something about the Building Control Act here recently. I think that's one of the drop in the ocean we can talk about. But how you, if you're in Parliament, MP for Gweri County, how do you ensure that the people of Gweri at least are a bit effectively participating in that lawmaking process?
Thank you so very much once again. Good evening to us all. I, as Elinu Samuel Kaju, elected member of parliament for Gweri County, people that are there need to pass laws, but not every law has to be passed. And for a law to be passed, there are usually criteria. For me as the person, for me as the leader from Gweri County, what I would do to make sure that people on the grassroots are aware of what transpires in parliament is through consultative meetings. Because my brother here actually, that's the sector he's in. So I would make sure parliament engages the private sector. The private sector does a lot of work because they actually go deep down to the grassroots and they're always in touch.
That is now parliament, but you as a member of parliament.
That's why I said
yes.
I would pass a motion for parliament to begin bringing in stakeholders like private sector that are able to move deep down to the grassroots, and actually the organizations also can be brought to your hand so that they can also help to diversify the information about laws, because there are usually institutions or institutes like within the country that help to come down and explain to people, because people hear about laws but people don't know what a law is or what is made up of a law. So people need to be explained to, because members of parliament may not have that time, but I will have the time to come and talk to people and explain to them and tell them what is happening, what law is being done, ABCD. But I believe as the member of parliament, I will make sure I move a motion for parliament as an organ to bring in stakeholders that will help it to make sure the information is passed on to the people on the ground. That's why we as the media, now people here, there are so many media houses here. Media has power. Media has what? Power. So I'll make sure parliament as an organ will also bring in media, because media can help to pass on information to people that may not be what? Able to
Thank
be
you.
in parliament. Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Candidate Topolot, what laws do you think you may prioritize, either to repeal or to propose, to ensure that the people of Gweri benefit in one way or the other?
The first law that must be repealed is the law of age limit. Needs to be repealed. We cannot have people as leaders up to any age that they want. You can see how people have been making fun of Moses Ali. Now Moses Ali is busy campaigning in West Nile. It has become complete comedy for the entire country. Then the other law that needs to really be repealed is where they remove the term limits for the president of Uganda. That law must be repealed because right now we have no clear, peaceful transition of power for Uganda. The people of Teso already suffered wars, several wars actually, while I was growing up, and I saw all the wars. We don't want, God forbid, we don't want any destabilizer for the whole of Uganda, because we want whatever, even with the small achievements that the NRM has had, we want those small achievements to remain. We don't want them destroyed by a power struggle by some elephants trying to take over. So we need a clear path of how we can change leadership in this country. With regard to Teso, to Gweri, I want us to propose the issues of agriculture. It's a big problem of agriculture. We need a law that mandates government not just to provide a budget, but also to head towards more modernization of agriculture, so that the people whom I'm serving in Gweri County can benefit more from their efforts. Then what I call malicious zoning. We need this malicious zoning of putting Teso to only have oranges and mangoes, yet this was part of the cattle belt. It is still part of the cattle corridor. So I don't know when oranges became cattle. This is a cattle corridor, and it has been proven internationally proven that all communities that keep cattle, livestock, are richer than communities that dwell on only crops or crop husbandry.
Thank you so much. Well, let's get the crossfire, and let me start with you, candidate Ninu. If you have any question for your colleagues, but of course don't ask the other two who are watching, because they are not here. There is no way we shall get their responses. You can ask these two.
How many questions? Just one?
One question.
Well, thank you so very much for this opportunity. I want to ask my colleagues, my brothers, a simple question, very simple. If
Ask
I'm elected,
one of the two.
one of the two.
Yes.
Okay. My brother, David Asubu, with which I come from, the same sub-county. If I am elected a member of parliament for Gweri County, will you support me?
Since the people of Gweri have spoken, my role is to work with all the stakeholders at all levels. When I'm a member of parliament, even when I'm not a member of parliament.
Thank you. Any question for any of your colleagues?
My question goes to Samuel Emini. I have reliable information that you are still staying with your father and your mother in the same family.
Which kind of question now is that? Continue, okay, with your question. Continue.
You allowed me to ask a question. Now you don't want me to ask. I can leave it out.
Ask. Okay, continue.
Peterson, you want me to ask your question?
We have rules.
Yes.
Yeah, and we don't tolerate personal issues.
That is not a personal question.
So, if you have any other question, proceed. If you don't have, we can go to the next candidate.
I actually have many questions, so I can leave that one.
Okay.
If you think what, because I have not yet asked.
Yes, the statement alone, you need to withdraw it. Out of respect to your colleague as a candidate, withdraw that statement.
I think based on the information I have, I cannot withdraw that because it's true on ground. So my question,
don't ask any question.
my question here
Please,
is,
candidate Asubu, put the microphone down. Let me get to Abel. Because you just follow the rules. As simple as that. We need to end on a good note, yes?
Thank you. For my colleagues who have showed up for this talk show, by the way, I want to inform the entire listening public that
Ask your question, please. Ask your question.
I'm building a background to my question.
Just ask a question. You have time to make your other statements.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Bwana Moderator. I actually have questions for the people who have dodged the debate and have not come. These are my brothers. I have 0 questions for them. We are in the game of trying to save Gweri County from being taken over by politicians who will forget about Gweri.
But they are not here to respond.
Exactly. So that means that I am wishing my brothers all the best in their campaign endeavors, and I'm praying for them. I request them to also pray for me, and I request all the people who have come to attend this debate to pray for us so that God shows us the best leader for Gweri County.
Thank you. One question here for candidate Ninu. How will you manage dealing with issues of the budget when the president has refused to assent to the budget? That's one of the questions. Note it, you will answer later. And then still Ninu, another question. If you win the election to become an MP for Gweri County, will you support? Will you support if someone else wins? Will you support the person who will go to court and bring a by-election? That's Frederick's question. We have only 3 questions. This one is a very long one. Elakas Richard is asking the candidates who are here for the debate, what positive impact are you going to put in the education sector when one of you goes to parliament because government aided schools are performing poorly in academics? That is for you all. Remember to vote. But the person you are talking about to vote is a presidential candidate and is not here. So thank you. So the issues of education are for all of you to respond. And then I didn't have the other 2 questions. These are the only questions we have for today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for this opportunity. Just to say but a few, I want to say this openly to the public and the people of Gweri and Uganda at large. I am Rhino once again. I am so blessed to be having both parents still alive. and I come from a very big family that loves one another, that lives together. That is why I, as a person, we have a very big home. We don't believe in issues of you going to stay elsewhere. So we have one home purposefully. That's where all of us and our families do stay. I come from a family whereby we are 7 children in our family. 3 of us have wives, but all of us are in the same home. It is our family rule. Okay? So my brother who told me that I do stay with my parents, I am just blessed to have both of them, and we love them. So we have to stay together. Thank you so very much. So to answer my question here, if the president or the fountain of honor did what? Said yes to a bill, and would I say no? My answer is yes. I am representing the people of Gweri County. If Gweri speaks, I have to go what Gweri says. So that means if the president says A, B, C, D, and my people of Gweri are against it, I would stand still and tell the president with concoct reasons. I will tell the president as to why I am going to say no, and possibly he would listen. By the way, we have a very good president. He listens because he loves all of us. So me standing up and tell the president why people of Gweri are saying this, because they voted me to represent them. So meaning I am their voice from what? From Gweri. So if my people say no to it, I will definitely stand still in front of the fountain of honor and tell him why I am saying no to it. So I will stand my still and say still no. Thank you so very much. Then the second question to me was, if I lost the election, would I go in for by-election? Would I come in wanting a by-election? My answer is no. Because I do believe there is time for everything and there is time for everyone. If God says it is my turn, it will be me. If God says it is David or it's Abel, definitely, why would I go in for that? I do believe everyone's timing is there. So I do believe in what? In giving chance to people. I would give and I would work with the person given authority for the betterness of Gweri County.
Thank you. Education.
I request to be pardoned on the question of education.
Schools are performing poorly, especially government schools. How do you plan to deal with that as an MP? That's the question someone raised here.
Thank you so very much. I'm an elite and I'm a doctor by profession. So I would want to say this. I am an evidence of good education background. I as a person, I as an MP, if elected, I would make sure I deal with that issue beginning from Parliament. Because personally, what I want to tell the people of Gweri, as an independent candidate, you choose, you write to the clerk requesting which committee you would wish to be what? To be included. And unfortunately, that question wasn't what? Asked to me. But I would want to be in the education committee so that I make sure I address the issue of the education in Gweri County. And I know the issue is not only in Gweri County, but all over the whole country. So I would make sure while there, I will address the issue of education. And I would make sure I come deep down. I come on the grassroots, engage the stakeholders, engage the head teachers, engage the teachers who are in those schools and find out from them what is really happening, what is lacking, why are students what? Performing poorly. Because I am not going there to talk about myself, talk about something that is baseless. I have to get a base from the ground. Then I go through my committee and address that issue to Parliament. Possibly,
all right, thank you.
Would get a solution
thank you so
for
much.
the poor education. Thank you so much.
You'll have time for a closing statement. Yes, candidate David Aspo.
I think the question was reading what positive input. Was that the question?
Answer it the way you got it. Don't mind about
Okay.
your colleague.
So for me, David Asubu, if I am given opportunity to be a member of parliament, a mighty constituency, there are many things I would do a contribution in. Number one, schools education is struggling because there is underfunding. One of the things we do in the Parliament of Uganda is to appropriate. It means money is actually there, but you just need to engage with your colleagues to allocate more money to education. I want to think one of the inputs I will put will be to increase funding in the education sector. Number two, equipping schools. If you look at the guidelines, what the guidelines are talking about public schools. Public schools are supposed to be having enough teachers that are equivalent to the number of children in those schools. There are things to do with the electricity, water, accommodation for teachers, all those facilities. So the second input I would do would be to address those issues, because poor performance is a result of disparate schools. If you went to some schools alone, the nature of schools are a result of dropouts. The other thing I would do would be to work with other stakeholders. You know, government is working with the parents, working with the other leaders, but there are gaps. So I will work with other stakeholders to ensure that they do their role when it comes to issues of education. Children are supposed to be eating from school, and government has left that role to the parents. Children are supposed to have books, uniform, and when the body leaders inform the communities, parents, about UPE, USE, they said government is funding everything. So other stakeholders decided to fold their hands. So the other input I would do would be to sensitize other stakeholders, mobilize them to play a role, and for them to appreciate the fact that education as a sector is very critical to Uganda as a nation. There could be many things to do, but I would prioritize that, including recruiting teachers. All those schools have very few teachers. I submit.
Thank you.
I saw Stephen whispering.
Thank you. Candidate Opolot.
Thank you for permitting me to answer this question. The positive impact that needs to be done with relation to the government-aided schools in Gweri County, some of the interventions have been touched on by my colleagues in the debate, but important among them should be a recruitment of more teachers, because the teacher-pupil ratio should be 1 teacher to 40 pupils. But we have had a situation where in almost all government schools, that number is 1 to more than 100. In some cases, it's even closer to 150 and more. So that needs to be addressed by funds being provided for recruitment of more teachers, and that's something that we need someone to fight for in Gweri County. Then the other issue, which is a very serious one, is motivation of teachers. I studied in a government-aided school for my primary, and that was Pioneer Primary School. I remember the last school fees I paid, my father paid, it wasn't me. My father paid in 1995, was 14,000. And that 14,000, I think, was for the year, something like that. But trust me, that money came in handy. Those days, Pioneer used to perform very well. We need to have a model where government stops arresting parents for contributing money. If parents sit and agree as a school to pay money, I think that there is no problem with that. If parents have not agreed and the school is demanding them money, then there's a real problem. Then the intervention to do with the improvement of education, I have already started this work. In 2024, we were able to give 3 sets of examinations to P7 candidates of Gweri County in all schools, both government and private. They did 3 sets of exams. Those 3 sets of exams were able to improve our performance in the county remarkably. However, in 2025, we were unable to do that because, as you remember, in term 3, there was a general strike that stopped us from doing that. However, my commitment to the people of Gweri County is that when elected as Member of Parliament on Thursday, I will be able to bring in a machine that is able to print for us exams in Gweri County. That will be called Gweri Examinations Center. This has already started. And so I have already started working. My appeal to the people of Gweri is that just keep me there and forget about the rest.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the responses. I now want to thank our technical team. Thank you so much for the production and all the media houses that are broadcasting. Thank you so much. We are coming to the end. The candidates will be having opportunity to make their closing statements, and the Stephen will be making our closing remarks. I want to thank you so much for the sessions, and thank you so much for the deliberations. I think so far you've given us the best debate. I don't regret for the two who missed today's debate, because you've ably raising the bar high for the next debate. I want to thank you so much, candidate Abel. Thank you so much, candidate David Asubu and candidate Ninu, for very good deliberations and the ideas you've shared. The people of Gweri have gotten an opportunity to really listen to the content. I should say that we'll be in parliament. You've given us quality content. And from the messages we see, yes, people elsewhere, the comments that have been coming in are very positive. Say, yes, these are the real leaders. Thank you so much. I hand over now to Stephen, who will be giving the closing remarks on behalf of the STACIC and organizing committee. And then you will also be having opportunity to make your closing statements. Then we shall have maybe a photo and we call it a day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Asubu said he saw me whispering. It is my duty. I'm the one in charge here now. And I have to make sure that I do a good job. And you know that amidst us we have the watch. And it helps us to control each one of you and to time each one of you. So when you see me communicating to Peterson today, our timekeeper has not been feeling well, Mr. Jonathan Osiki. And I hope he will join us in tomorrow's debate with the women members, the aspirants for the women member of parliament, the Soroti district. But nevertheless, we want to thank you so much. We are highly indebted to you for the response to our call. You have showed a higher level of discipline, and you have also showed that the people of Gweri are bigger than you. I normally disagree with the leaders who think they are bigger than the people. It should be on record that I am one of the people who will never make them comfortable. It should be done on record, and I will not withdraw it. Why? We are the media personalities, but we are part of the voters. I can give you an example. Today we are missing two colleagues of ours here. Eddie Anoru, a colleague from NBS Television, a bureau chief, is hospitalized, having got involved in a serious accident yesterday as he was coming back from Ngora, together with John Ogule. You have been seeing them participating here with us because of the bad roads. So when we are here in this debate, we are both contributing to address the challenges surrounding our community, which we live in. You can't live in a community because of the responsibility you have or because of the office you're holding. Then you begin living like you are living in heaven. For you, you don't live in that community. What about tomorrow if that position is offloaded from you? So we want a community that benefits all of us, a community that accommodates both of us. We are much more aware that it is only one member of parliament, one person who will go to parliament. One person. But let's have a leveled ground to have that one person go. And that's why the rule of law comes in and the aspect of democracy. From yesterday, from last week, we began becoming watchdogs as the media. And so far, we are watching every step. We are watching every step. And we shall not get discouraged as the Teso Media fraternity to do our job. We only keep praying for each other, because I know as members of parliament, as the electorates, the church leaders, the children, the people living with disabilities, they all need good services. And the good services will come on Thursday, whether we shall vote for the good leaders or we shall vote for the bad leaders. Tomorrow we are going to have the elections, the debate for the aspirants or the contestants, the candidates for Soroti Women Member of Parliament. And we still invite all of you to be part of this, so that it's part of the civic action that we are doing. We are doing this voluntarily. There is nobody who is funding us. The journalists you see here are here because they love Teso. And if we love Teso, we must demonstrate. Either we sleep at midnight, or we sleep at 1 o'clock, or we sleep at 4 in the morning. It is the way we are demonstrating our love to the community which we live in, because our children tomorrow, even when we are not there, will find an exceptional community. Will find a better one. I personally vote in Gweri. I vote in Amodo Mabi. And one of you, I will vote, because you have convinced in this debate tonight. I do not want to be the judge, but the same way people are judging is the same way I have judged. I will keep it in my heart and vote to vote, because it's a secret. I want to thank the media fraternity, especially Teso Vibes, Sultan Otimong, Ali, I have seen him here. We want to thank you very much. Iagunathan, we want to thank you very much. Savo, he has been actually the producer since day go. And I must attest to you that you've done a good job, a very tremendous job. And Nova, you have always not slept. Mama G, especially the management of Teso Broadcasting Services, for partnering with us. Kyoga Veritas, for partnering with us. Delta, you have been. Etop Radio is represented here. And we have the staff of Etop, Teso Media Group, and all those. And we want to continue demonstrating the unity as the media will be where it should have been by now. We are not late. We are not late, and we are never late. I want to thank the management of Rhino Camp. What should I say? They have always given us the venue, they have supported us, and we feel we are part of their families. I implore all of you to continue supporting Rhino Camp, just like the way they have supported us. Give them business if it is available. Come for your wedding receptions here. Come for your meetings. Come for accommodation. Direct your relatives to come here. This is one of the best hospitality points we have in Soroti. And it's very cool when it reaches this time, since it's seated on the monumental rock that actually stirs the heart of the city. Opiai, this is the time you will feel the cool breeze. Asubu, you have been used to the other one which comes from Aoja, but also this one is from the relief of Opiai that we have. And I must say, good night to all of you, and may God bless you. As I have already said, my closing remark, and then we shall take a picture for the memory that we had a debate. I want to start with the Honorable This time let me start from the Honorable Abel. Just 1 minute.
Thank you. In closing, I would like to thank first and foremost my colleagues, fellow candidates who are running for Member of Parliament of Gweri County. I want to thank them so much for respecting the in Parliament. That's the question I have for you. Ask yourself that question as you go home. If these people cannot debate Opolot and Asubo and Enino, then you know that you have a problem. If these people are sent to Parliament, they're going to be there like logs, literally. For 5
Thank
years,
you.
we shall lose again. So I am saying for the people of Gweri County, when you're making a choice, I am saying vote for Polot. I'm saying consider the people who have come here for the debate. These are the real people. You are real people. These are your people. The others have forgotten about you. They have already served in Parliament. They now think that they are rich. But I need you to show them on Thursday. Thank you.
Those are not my words. We shall only play a disclaimer that the views expressed in this debate are not necessarily for the moderators or the organizers, but they are for the candidates participating. Asubu, you go on.
Thank you. In a minute, I would like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you in your respective capacities for putting aside your valuable time for you to come and be part of this debate. Specifically to the three groups, forgive me to call those groups, the people from Gweri, three groups. I think we came here as groups, but we have come here as the people of Gweri. I am humbled that my colleagues who are here appreciate the fact that for us, the three, to accept to come here, it didn't mean that we didn't have what to do. We had what to do. For me, who normally talks about accountability, responsiveness, I had to be very accountable to the media fraternity, to the people of Gweri, people of Soroti, for me to spare time to come here. I thank specifically my team from Aukot, from Gweri, Awalwal, who are seated behind there, for them to accept, to openly show their side of the coin that they're in my camp. Thank you very much. My message to the people of Gweri and Teso as a large, come 15th on Friday, on Thursday, vote for leaders who will bring a services to you. Move away from that money, the money they are giving you. First of all, that is your money that has been stolen from somewhere, your money that someone received from somewhere, and now that day you are not going to be lying. That day you are going to be alone in the basin. Vote for a transformative leader who will bring development, a transformative leader who will work closely with you for us to end the poverty together. And that the leader I am talking about is David Asubu with the vast action. Leadership is about actions. I thank you very much.
The Honorable Asubu, and that takes me, it reminds me of what one person in the name of Karl Marx, I was reading one of his novels one day. It said, the mistakes we make sometimes, the biggest mistake we make sometimes is to choose the wrong leaders. We suffer because of the nature of the leaders that we vote. Let me usher in the Honorable Eminu.
Thank you so much once again. Allow me to take my appreciations to the organizers of this debate, that you have done something so great. You've done something that is so significant in that you have given we, the people of Gweri, we, the candidates of Gweri, chance to speak for our people. For our people to be able to know for the kind of leaders they would wish to have, that kind of leaders that they are standing for. Then again, I want to say thank you to the Rhino camp and all people from Gweri who are with us here. And I want to pass one message to the people of Gweri. People of Gweri, I am here. And I call upon my colleagues here, if possible, I wish you could just join back me up for this position. I know I would serve as individual items, where I sleep, where I come from, where I do what. We are just normal human beings. My colleague here, I do forgive him. However much he did not withdraw that, because whatever he talked about, it is our family nature. That's us. Not because we don't have land, we have land, but it's what? The family what? Nature. And it's just an activity that we as a family do to stay together, all of us. Whether you grow up, whether you grow older, what, all of us have to be in the what? Same community, because we love one another, isn't it? So I want to say this. Thank you to all our viewers, both online and physical. I just want to wish you a good night. Pray for me. Come next Thursday, I be declared as the MP for God and my country. I remain a Nino Samuel Kaju. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ants collect themselves together with courage. They will all bite a grasshopper and kill it and pull it into their house. Good night.
Yalamanoi Neja siesi keren wopoto chamuto epala kuspark abunere atibona aipupa omisho kwa ichechata candidates kus webolo no Gweri County rongai siti kinese be atibona lolo ijao ni kedi candidates uni wopoto chamuta bunere eninu Samuel Kaju independent alimone si anebe gongara ngesi owailo epatelo wa NRM Jaike Diasubu David independent kota diakari itimoi Opolot Abel independent ido yare mama potwe pedosi abunere nuapote mika kesi abunere mama oni jeni moriari to siariko habate dimon nepe kedie kudotom Julius munore siati bongna jokan konya kota siti kine sinu jasi nebe korenge sialo marola go to Google Play Store osote downloading our app One Africa raini tegiari tetungenen lo rete sort soma kwa pe TikTok so dijeri amunke di pajan papero kono sote mora omishwa nen kopoan it has over 10,000 users so ikoto amunore sia kware na jokan ewala sikere riamno smoi bobone naribuna yaunesi candidates no soroti woman member of parliament race nesibuni ayaun moini atibong moi idar loka suban kota nyaraun candidates no jas ngaren potu jesuno spop and right no maraput yalama